Hi guys, it's me, Gerald Igot. Each plane will be discussed and demonstrated in today's video. The frontal or coronal plane, the sagittal plane, and the transverse plane. Before everything, we should warm up first. A coronal plane, also known as the frontal plane, is any vertical plane that divides the body into ventral and dorsal, which is also known as belly and the back sections. The coronal plane is an example of a longitudinal plane because it is perpendicular to the transverse plane. For a human, the mid-coronal plane would transect a standing body into two halves, front and back, or anterior and posterior, in an imaginary line that cuts through both shoulders. The clearest example of exercise in frontal plane movement is the jumping jack, straight arm lateral raises and lateral leg raises, which are comprised of adduction and abduction of the shoulder and hip respectively. In anatomy, the sagittal plane or longitudinal plane is an anatomical plane which divides the body into right and left part. The plane may be in the center of the body and split into two halves, or away from the midline and split into unequal parts. The example of sagittal plane is the bicep curl. For the upper body, a common example of a sagittal plane exercise is the bicep curls. Continue imagining a plate cutting the body into left and right halves, and think about the only body parts moving in the exercise, which is the arms. The transverse plane or axial plane, also called as horizontal plane or transaxial plane, is an imaginary plane that divides the body into superior and inferior parts. It is perpendicular to the coronal plane and sagittal plane. Any movement around this axis is classified in transverse plane, specifically rotation or twisting of the spine. Spinal rotation then simply occurs to either the left or the right. That would be all, guys. I hope you learned something. Thank you and God bless.